Theme music, please. Aloha, I'm Mick Kalber.
How's it? I'm Bruce Amari, and you are
On Hawaiian Time. Hey, you guys, throughout this podcast, Bruce and I, along with my trophy wife, Ann, and our illustrious producer, Tim, are going to talk story, unfiltered, about life in Hawaii. What it's like out here on the Big Island, what it's like during volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunami watches, even nuclear missile threats from North Korea, all the crazy things that happen out here. We've got a great episode for you today. We're going to talk about some of our favorite Big Island beaches. We're also going to talk about current business climate here and how some of us are trying to come up with different ideas to get by. There are a lot of creative types out here, and we hope our conversations will inspire those of you who are having to reinvent yourself in this COVID-19 era.
Mick, you're a documentary maker specializing in volcanoes.
Yep, that would be me. I call myself a volcanographer. That's a combination of a photographer and a volcanologist. I'm not a volcanologist, but I am a volcanographer.
And Bruce is a professional photojournalist who owns Extreme Exposure Gallery in downtown Hilo, also with an emphasis on the volcanoes here in Hawaii. How did you two first get together?
Bruce and I have been flying the volcano now for, what's it been, Bruce, 6 years? 6 years.
Yeah.
Since 2014.
Yep.
And, at some point we decided to start up Hot Seat Hawaii because we always had one extra seat.
Yeah, so you guys fly in the helicopter, doors off, you're videoing, Bruce is taking stills.
Yeah, just to make it clear, we don't fly the helicopter. Sometimes people get confused. We are not the pilots. Bruce shoots stills, I shoot video. You know, we used to go up and fly. The volcano's not erupting at the moment. We used to go up and fly wherever she was erupting and document what was happening and have a good time.
So how are you dealing with it, Bruce? How are you coping with the economic fallout from the COVID-19 crisis?
Remember when you used to take clients out, Bruce?
Let me think. That was a long time ago.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's a tough economy right now, man. You know, my wife and I have applied for unemployment, and we've applied for those SBA loans, the disaster relief stuff, and the paycheck protection thing, and in hopes that we can receive some funds to keep our gallery going. But like right now, this is about the time of year when I prep our calendar, our lava calendar for the following year. And this year, because the gallery is closed, we're not able to fund that. We don't have that cash flow. I mean, we're draining our reserves pretty quickly. So yeah, we're thinking about maybe crowdsourcing or crowdfunding the calendar. Not sure if that's a viable idea or not, because everybody else is in the same boat. But got to get creative here, Yeah.
And I'm sure people are out there wanting, to support people and people like you that give back to the community and also support your great photography.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've been making posts about supporting our local community through activatehawaiiaid.org. So any purchases they make during this time, we'll give back 20% of our net proceeds to help out the community.
If you did a crowdsourcing, or rather a crowdfunding thing for the calendar, what would you use? Would you use GoFundMe or Kickstarter, or have you thought about it?
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of, to provide this opportunity for followers or people that are interested in purchasing the calendar, providing that opportunity with no risk, so that Kickstarter thing kind of looks interesting, because if we don't reach our goal, then they get their money back. And I wouldn't want to be stuck with like half the money and not be able to go through with the project, because I need a minimum amount to make this feasible for us. So I think Kickstarter is looking good at this point. I got to do more research on that, though.
Would you mind sharing with us what the minimum is you'd need to raise to get the print done for the calendars?
Yeah, it's a total of about $15,000 to get the calendars printed. We've been printing roughly about 3,000 calendars every year, and cost comes out to about $4 a piece. And with the shipping runs anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, it's been creeping up. It'll never go back down, but about $15,000 to make this project fly. And that's a lot to raise in 30 days or whatever that time limit is.
What if you did less? Is that possible?
Then the price of the calendars go up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. So, that break point, not the break even point, but I can do it. I can do 2,000 calendars, but my price would have to be like $25 a calendar versus 15. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to print any less.
Well, I'm interested to see if you can make that work, Bruce. We'll keep tabs on that, and we'll see. Try to check on the progress.
Yeah, thanks.
And what's going on with you? Like, tell us about your businesses. How are things going during the crisis for you?
So it got kind of carried away with making masks. Everybody was making masks, and I thought I would pass until I thought, well, I should make masks for us here on the property. And so then I went into my obsessive mode, and that and a combination of watching too much Project Runway, and combined a bunch of different masks to get the best mask that fit everybody, and made a few and put it out there to people to sell them, and they're taking off. I'm selling them for $12 each, and people are stopping me on the street. I headed into Hilo yesterday, and they stopped. A couple friends yelled, "Hey, I messaged you. I want to." And I said, "I got to." So it's nice. It's one of those things. Go with the flow. Right now, masks are needed, and doing that, and hopefully painting some carps and things like that. But right now, that's what's happening. I've got some lava cider that's been fermenting, and that's going to be going out. People are calling me that are wanting that. It helps boost the immune system. It's a fermented apple cider vinegar-based elixir, and it's really helping a lot of people. So I'm doing that. It's kind of like whatever is needed, you kind of fill in the blanks. And right now, the day is filled making masks and shipping masks off, and
not to mention indigo shibori.
It is. I've kind of put that aside. I've got my vats still. My vats need to be fed and boosted up for me to get into it. But it's like right now, I'm kind of mostly drawn to doing this.
I've been able to witness Anne in action here because my wife and I are living in the Airbnb on the property, which is, I guess, a long-term rental now. But it's pretty interesting to see Anne going to work. Like, it's sort of a mad scientist thing. There's fabric flying, there's scissors, there's dye and vats of dye over here. There's beautiful carp that she's hand-painted, these carp kites. I forget what they're called.
Koi nobori.
There we go. So there is a lot of artwork and things and productivity happening here on the grounds.
We don't have a home, we have a studio.
Yeah, it's a working studio / home. And
you guys get to live in it. Lucky guys.
It's Anne's world. We're just living in it.
That's right. I've said that many times.
Living on the Big Island, it's getting creative. It's starting with what you love, what your interest is, and then finding a passion, and then finding a niche. Right now it's like I've got a lot of different hats that I wear.
It's funny, and you hit upon something. The Big Island. I kind of joke it's the gig island because there's a lot of people who are in the gig economy here. People hustling multiple jobs to make ends meet and make it work. And like you said, getting creative. And there's a lot of people around the world right now who, without a job, are going to have to get creative and sort of reinvent themselves and figure out what they can do. But,
Tim, this island is really built for that. The people here, by and large, don't work corporate jobs. They don't have that one steady job. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. And so you find people here that do, like you said, many jobs in the gig economy. And what I learned when I moved here in 1984 is there are a lot of people here that do many different things. Like Annie was talking about. Annie's done stained glass. She's done etched glass. She's done shibori. She's done just a lot of different art projects. She's done personal assistant. A lot of people do that kind of a thing when they first come here. Some people stay doing that, but other people do it until they sift down to the one or the two or the three things that actually are the most productive for them, that they enjoy the most, that make the most money, but you kind of need to do that for a while to keep your head above water, and if you're doing enough. I remember when I first understood that I was traveling around the island with a friend of mine, and we met some people, and they did the flea market on Saturday, they bred cats, they did stained glass. They had all these different things. And, I finally figured out that's what you need to do to stay alive until you figure out what it is that works for you, And that's probably a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people are going to be doing that around the country now, around the world, I suppose, because things have been turned upside down. Hey, you guys, let's tell everybody about our new website.
On HawaiianTimePodcast.com.
Well, that's a mouthful. Can everybody say that?
On HawaiianTimePodcast.com.
Okay, close enough. First, before we do anything else, we have to mention that during our podcast, we may be endorsing products that we use and love. And if you purchase them, the product, we may earn a little bit of coffee money. At no cost to you, of course.
But we'll never back a product unless we really believe in it.
Yeah, so it's a win-win.
So we just launched on HawaiianTimePodcast.com, and we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, Ann and I have been doing a lot of research leading up to this podcast. And in addition to the audio component, there's other things that go into a podcast, including a website.
Yeah, I've been using Bluehost for many years, hosting other websites I build, and I've been really happy with them. Good service, and you always get through.
If there's anybody else out there considering doing a podcast or even a website, go to our website on HawaiianTimePodcast.com. We've got all the links there and everything else you need to kind of get started.
Check out our merch there, too. What have we got for them, Bruce?
T-shirts, stickers, mugs, everything else under the sun.
And you'll see our new logo there, specially designed by our friend Joel Marcus of M Inc. out of Salem, Massachusetts. Thanks so much, Joel. Appreciate that. Love that logo.
So, some of the things that I think are kind of interesting about our situation now with COVID-19 and isolating, having to stay home, is it gives us a different perspective on life. And I've been finding some things on Facebook lately, on the internet lately, that I think are pretty interesting. This is one from a guy in Belfast, Ireland, and he's on the COVID response team there. And he writes, when you go out and you see the empty streets, the empty stadiums, the empty train platforms, don't say to yourself, it looks like the end of the world. What you're seeing is love in action. What you're seeing is that negative space, is how much we do care for each other, for our grandparents, for our parents, for our brothers, our sisters, for people we will never meet. People will lose jobs over this. Some will lose their businesses, and some will lose their lives. All the more reason to take a moment when you're out on your walk, out on your way to the store, or just watching the news to look into the emptiness and marvel of all that love. Let it fill you and sustain you. It isn't the end of the world. It's the most remarkable act of global solidarity we may ever witness. I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. I really like that.
Nice.
It's more than just saying, oh, wow, those guys are doing a great job, kudos to them. It's a matter of the people of the world coming together, coming together as one. And something we've talked about and envisioned and thought about and probably thought, I for one, thought would never happen.
Yeah.
And here it is happening, maybe, or so it seems, behind an event that seems absolutely disastrous.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was an interesting perspective.
Yeah, very profound.
Yeah.
Was it John Lennon who said, everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, It's not the end.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope it was John Lennon. I hope I got that right.
I mean, it was to the point of what would it take for everybody to stay home? You know, what would happen? And I look forward to seeing, you know, environmentally what we find comes out of all of this.
Oh, yeah. This is fabulous for the climate, for the planet.
Did you see the photo of downtown Los Angeles recently? It was the clearest it's ever looked.
Yeah.
And they said this was a little while ago, but for like 3 straight weeks, the pollution level in LA was the lowest it's been in 50 years.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
How else could you get everyone off those
Oh,
highways?
no, you couldn't. You couldn't. This is the virus did that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Did you guys see that set of photos that somebody posted of all the beaches around the Big Island
empty.
being so empty?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because you never ever see it like that.
Yeah.
What beach do you miss the most
cool.
right now, Bruce? If you could go to any beach on the Big Island, and you can't unless you do it illegally, and I know you wouldn't do that.
No,
Yeah,
not
I
Bruce.
wouldn't.
Not Bruce.
What beach do you miss the most?
What beach? I love Hapuna. That's where I used to spend a lot of time as a kid, body surfing and fishing. It's about I think it's about a quarter-mile long, maybe half-mile long, white sand beach. It's surrounded by lava rock, but there's this beautiful stretch of pristine white sand. And of course, now there's a resort, built at one end, but the beach is beautiful. The water is so clean and blue there, and I love it there.
The resort's really back away from the beach, too. You can't hardly see it. It's not like a lot of resorts that are right on the beach.
Yeah, it's not right on, but, that resort brings people with it.
Yeah, that was a big fight back then, too, remember?
Oh, yeah.
About whether to have it.
The beach hasn't been the same ever since they built that resort.
Yeah.
But
you ever go to
it's still a
69 down
gorgeous
the road
beach.
from there?
Yeah, that's a
Love
gorgeous one, too.
69. Used to be able to drive down the road to 69 before they made it into a real place and drive all the way right onto the beach. We used to go down. You weren't supposed to camp down there, but we used to go down and spend the night down there. I love that beach. Because there are trees. The one thing I don't like about Hapuna is the trees are all back away from the beach. And that 69, all the trees are right at the beach. So you can actually sit underneath a tree and be on the beach. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Gorgeous place.
I like Maclavena. I haven't been to Maclavena for a long time. Have you?
Oh, yeah. That's another beautiful one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I haven't been there for a few years.
Yeah, stunning.
Yeah, gorgeous place.
Which one is that? I don't remember. I don't know if I've been to that one.
Maclavena is Kailua side of the big pu'u that's down there. There's only one cinder cone on the Makai side of the road.
Isn't that near Kua Bay?
Yeah, Kua Bay is on the other side.
Okay.
And when you pass the cinder cone, then there's a road that takes you down. Worst road ever. I mean, awful road. But once you get down there, you can actually walk that road as fast as you can drive it, or faster. It's true. But when you get down to the ocean, then you're driving on like a coral and lava rock road, and that winds around and goes into the entrance. It's Bishop Estate property. And there used to be a gate. There used to be actually be able to go to Kealakekua and get a key to that gate and go down and drive in through that gate and lock it back up. And you could spend the night down there and then take the key back when you left. And when you first drive in, it's Ironwoods, and to the left, away from the ocean, there was a wildlife preserve. I don't know how much water is left in it now. It's lost a lot of water. But there were still Hawaiian stilts and ducks and all kinds of bird life, and it's a really cool place. And then beyond that are 3 crescent-shaped white sand beaches that are just stunning. I mean, stunning. And you can sit on that beach. It's kind of a fooler, though. You can sit on that beach, and the wind comes right off the water and keeps you cool. So the good news is it's pleasant and swimming is nice. It's really easy. But the bad news is you can get really burned because you don't know what's happening. You can't feel it. You don't get hot. Oh, and there's a Queen's Bath there, too. Behind the beach, there's a little brackish water pond that you can get in and rinse off and get the salt off. And I love that beach. We used to go down there and spend days down there. It was great.
I just think about the sun and I get a sunburn. Sun is not my friend.
Yeah.
But there's some amazing beaches for sure. What's everybody watching to keep themselves occupied on Netflix and the various streaming platforms?
Contagion.
Oh, nice. What is Contagion?
Well, Contingent is a movie that was filmed back in like 2010 or 2011. I think it was released in 12. And the technical advisor for the movie, I forget his name, but he was instrumental in wiping out smallpox. So he's a world-renowned epidemiologist, and he wrote either a book or a paper about the potential for a pandemic. And that movie is so eerily similar to what we're going through right now. It's mind-blowing. A lot of the terms that we're hearing every day now, on the news about social distancing and the R naught factor and everything. I mean, all those things are in that movie, It's crazy. Yeah, you guys got to watch it. Seriously.
I'm trying to think of some of our favorite ones.
Well, we just finished Ozark.
Yep, that was really good.
That was
That
good.
was the third season of Ozark.
Third season, yeah.
On Netflix.
Yep.
So we just finished watching *Halt and Catch Fire*. It's a great drama about the kind of history of the making of computers and coming into personal use. It was great.
That's on Netflix?
Netflix.
Yep. I've got a joke for you.
Oh, boy.
Did you hear about the masochist that was walking down the street and he ran into a sadist? The masochist said, hurt me. And the sadist said, no.
Oh, ouch.
I like that one. Did you hear about the magician that walked down the street and turned into a restaurant? Think about it. Come on, think about it.
Do we want to encourage this?
You guys are a tough audience, really.
What else you got? Got any more?
I'll be here all week, folks.
So what did one volcano say to the other volcano?
Have you stopped smoking yet?
What does one volcano say to the other volcano?
I lava you.
Oh.
Yay!
Aww.
I thought it was going to be I'm erupting for your love.
So what did one volcano say to the other volcano?
Can we just hear this?
I lava you?
Is there an echo here?
I lava you.
No. You rock.
Oh, you're right. See, Bruce is way better than I am. You should do the daily joke of the day there, Brucey.
Bruce, did you write
So
those?
what did one?
Oh, he's
No.
still on a roll. A Kaiser roll.
What did one volcano say to the other volcano?
I don't know.
You're hot.
Did you tell this to your kids, or did your kids tell these to you? How did this happen?
No, these are jokes that I learned when I was stuck on that stupid school bus, and I couldn't go outside and play in the sulfur-filled air.
See? Kids' jokes.
Bruce, why couldn't you get off the school bus?
Because I had asthma,
Ah.
so I was stuck on the bus,
Making up jokes.
and yeah, that's how I became obsessed with lava.
Wait, if you have asthma, so tell us your
Yep.
first encounter with the volcano. How old were you?
When you could get out of the bus.
When I could get out of the bus. Man, shucks, that wasn't until later in life. When I was a kid, I can remember going to Halima'uma'u when it was erupting. I think that had to be like 1968 or something. And I had to stay in the car with my mom because both of us had asthma. But I can remember tons of people just walking past us, going out to the overlook to see that lava lake. And yeah, that left a lasting impression on me. Missing out on the good stuff, you know?
So what if you have asthma and you go out and see the volcano and the lava, what's can happen to you? Can you die?
Yeah.
You can die.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Almost did a couple times.
And so how is it that you can now go get close to the lava and the volcano?
He's got balls.
I'm not supposed to. Knowledge and preparation are the key, like with everything else. So I get out there with my respirator and my inhaler, and I'm very cautious about how I approach the flows. So, I was staying downwind and watching the wind for shifts, and just approach those areas of gas, effusing from the tubes. I avoid those areas.
And are you thinking of your mom telling you shouldn't be there?
Oh, man. If she was alive, she'd kill me.
So how often do you have to use your respirator and your inhaler when you're out there?
When I'm out shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. If I got to get to an area where, to get the shot, that means getting into an area where, there's a bit of gas, then, I don the respirator. But, yeah, when I start having wheezing issues, then breathing issues, then I use my inhaler.
Annie thinks she's hearing thunder on here, Bruce. Do you hear thunder?
Yeah, it's thundering out here.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, it might be picking up on my mic. I'm not sure.
Haven't heard it.
It's pretty loud.
But I thought it was our guy next door who has a motorcycle, but it's thunder apparently.
Mick and Ann
I thought
and
it was
I are
a janitor upstairs.
Mick and Ann and I are at Leilani Estates in Pahoa. Bruce, you're up in Hilo, about 25 miles north of us.
Yeah.
It was beautiful all day. Now I don't know.
No, it's still nice, not raining very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not raining, but it's very heavily overcast. It's pretty dark out there.
Thunder's pretty rare in Hawaii, isn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it is. Although we've had more in the last year or two than we used to, it seems to me.
Ooh.
And what's the secret sweepstakes word of this episode?
The secret sweepstake word is Kilauea.
Good luck spelling that.
That's part of it. They gotta spell it right.
They'll have to Google it.
Yeah, they'll have to spell it right. It is our volcano here on the island.
Kilaua.
Do they need to put the little line over the I?
Optional.
Kilauea.
That's for the contest or sweepstakes. Go to our website on HawaiianTimePodcast.com. Click on the button for the contest. Fill out the form, and don't forget the secret sweepstakes word is
Kilauea.
You can enter up to 3 times. There's 3 secret sweepstakes words, one in each of the first 3 episodes of this podcast.
Hey, Mick. How does anyone find out more about our podcast?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Bruce. If you go to onhawaiiantimepodcast.com, you'll find everything you need to know about subscribing to the podcast. There are links there to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a bunch of others. Awesome. That's what I was going to say.
There's show notes and links to things that we've been talking about. Also links to social media pages.
Plus, we've got some great merch for sale, and we're running a contest for some free stuff while supplies last.
I'd like to give a big mahalo out to our logo designer, Joel Marcus of M Inc.
We also got Jamie Colazzo, a.k.a. Silverline Sound, mixing our podcast. We're really lucky to have him. He's been out here with us working on the volcano documentary as well. And
Wait a minute, I thought he was a rock and roll star.
Well, actually, he's a country star now. He's in Nashville now.
Oh, well, that's kind of rock and roll.
Hard to keep up with them.
Whatever podcast platform you're listening on, please subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a review and rate us. that will really help us get noticed, and you can single-handedly help us out.
You can get all this and more on HawaiianTimePodcast.com.
Aloha.
Aloha.
See ya.
Aloha.
Mainlander says, see ya. I'm still not used to saying aloha and going like that. And
Shaka.
when Andrew and I are walking, people go by and I usually start with a wave, and if they're doing a shaka, I switch to a shaka. Then I feel like an idiot.
And this is different than this.
It is?
Yes.
A frontward shaka is different than a backward shaka.
This means fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. We've got to keep an eye on Tim in the neighborhood.
His eyes just went,
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. We got to work on that, Tim.
That's why they got to reach for his gun, you know?
So you're messing with me. See you.
Later.